Alright, how's it going, everybody? This is Ismortah, and this is episode 13 of my custom Kingdom Death Monster campaign. This episode is going to be the summit phase for Lantern Year 5. So I've already done the initial shuffling required as far as the innovation deck and settlement event deck. And so now we're just going to be doing the settlement phase, not including the departing survivors segment. And we're going to do some stuff. We're going to do some endeavors, do an event, probably not any additional story events, but we'll see. And do a little bit of settlement activities. Alright, so let's get started. Have my little guide here, which I've shown you guys before. All the steps of the settlement phase. The exceptions here when I play is I reverse these two. So I'm going to record the stuff, and then at the beginning of the hunt stream, which would be the one after this, I will prepare departing survivors and do the hunt. Just because it's part of the hunt, that way I make that stream a little bit longer, and this one a little bit shorter. Because this one has a lot more, typically has story stuff, as well as the whole strategizing on how I want to build my characters and what I want to make, and that can eat up some time. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is set up. I've already set up the things that I need. I have returning survivors gear grids. I have my innovations, my principles, the decks ready. These are the current locations that have created, ready to go. All right, so the first thing is we heal all returning survivors and remove any temporary tokens. I've already removed the speed and strength temporary tokens. Now I remove all the bleeds. And then I'll go to each character sheet and remove any damage to their body. Okay. So, oh yeah, and then here are also the resources that I got from the last, well, during the Nemesis Encounter. I got 2 fresh acanthus and a broken lantern. Okay, so Citroni took a lot of damage from getting wailed on. Which reminds me of one thing I want to update. There were 2 things that I was, one thing that I was checking from the last stream, and one thing I found out after doing the stream when I watched it again, trying to confirm. I did verify that everybody hit at least once. I really thought Volatile didn't hit, but she did hit with her bow once, and so was able to gain a proficiency level. Whereas Oko and Citroni hit a couple times, and Elcor only hit a couple times too, but he did hella wounds every time. So he probably did like half damage to the Butcher. Now, the one things I did realize though is, so everyone got a level of proficiency or gained a proficiency if they didn't have it, like Oko now can do the spear. But I realized Hack City, like the one of the AI cards of the Butcher, I played incorrectly. I'm not shedding any tears over it or losing any sleep over it because the game's already super punishing. But I did notice I played correctly, just to inform you guys. So it says on the card that it has an attack profile, but then it says after the damage, if any hits, for any rolls that you hit, you then re-roll all of your dice and you keep re-rolling hits as a series until you get a series that all of them miss for whatever reason. And that's not how I played it. I kind of skimmed over it fast, which I honestly got to stop doing. How I played it was, I do the attack profile, which I rolled the other 4 or 5 dice. I know toward the end I kept forgetting to add the speed of the Butcher by accident, and I don't recall if I did 4 or 5 dice. But in any case, after dodges and whatever, or Spain Survival, I had 2 dice. And so both of those, I kept re-rolling independently hits until it missed. and I should have done it at the all 4 or 5 dice as a series. So basically, that card in the entire deck is if you draw that card, your character's probably gonna insta die. It's like the rolling a 1 out of a D10 chance. But I'm not losing sleep over it because it is a super punishing card. My guy took blows everywhere. He just didn't die. And also, when you survive it, you get Legendary Lungs story event. But I didn't get anything significant out of that event. I got 3 survival. Who cares? That's a expendable resource that's capped out right now pretty low. So it's like, nothing really bad happened, but nothing really good happened out of it. So it was a wash. Plus the bonus I got for the butcher anyway was actually really bad. So the fact that I at least got my characters to survive, and the fact that I got that really cool death blow, so people got stats, was still cool. It was cool story wise how that event go. But yeah, I just wanted to share that I did play that card incorrectly, apparently. And it was worded well. I mean, it could have probably been worded a little bit better, but I skimmed over it and missed the important include step of it. Okay, anyway, so I'm repairing damage. So yes, Citroni took damage all over his body, but managed with his evasion and survival to stick it through. So repairing damage on Citroni. And now Oko looks like took no damage other than damage to the armor, which I guess I'll just go ahead and update. Well, no, I'm not caring about updating the armor because when you prepare survivors, the equipment, gear, and stuff may change. So what we're doing right now is just removing temporary tokens and repairing the actual damage to the character itself, not damage to the armor, because that can vary. And then Volatile took basically all damage to the chest. Okay, so we repair damage. Do not remove gear. Well, I mean, if that's how we're doing it, might as well just repair all damage. So it's Skull Helm is 3, Waist is 1, Head 3, Legs 1, Waist 1, and then here we have everything is 2 except for the waist is 1, so 2, legs 2. And then here is head 1, waist 1, head 1, waist 1. Okay, so we also repair the armor. Okay, so now we gain endeavors. So for the endeavors, since we have 4 returning survivors, even though, it probably should have only been 3, because I probably would have had 1 person die at least. Anyway, like I said, not losing sleep over it. I'm playing this more for the story than being married to particular mechanics. Because like you see, for example, me doing the Showdown settlement and the religion Ismortah and Isma, the personal Twilight Sword, I've customized kind of my own campaign. And some of these rules I'm kind of changing so it better fits the story. Like, for example, I'm doing story events immediately when they trigger at the appropriate time instead of all during the milestone stage of the settlement event. So I've got, I'm building the game for fun. So, just so you know. There's a little bit of home customization. Okay, so I have 4 endeavors that I can spend on different stuff. Next, I update the timeline. So we are now in Lantern Year 5, sun marking number 5. And there is a story event, actually, also during it. So this could be a settlement event, there's going to be a story event, and then we're going to also spend endeavors, and then possibly also craft gear, but most likely not because we have so little resources, and we didn't really get any resources to make gear or weapons from the butcher. Like, gear-wise, all we have is actually 1 organ, 1 random resource, we can have whatever we want, 2 skulls, 1 lonely ant, 1 eye of cat, 3 lanterns, and then we got another lantern and 2 plants. So really nothing, we're probably not going to craft any gear, but we probably will innovate and do other endeavor shit And there's going to be two different story things, which is cool. All right, so we are now on Lantern Year 5. Okay, so first up is the settlement event. We updated the timeline. Next, we do the settlement event. So I've already shuffled, so we can draw the top card and see what we get. This is Plague. So this can be really bad. And I'll show you a picture. It's got a lot of word stuff. Don't worry about making it out. I'm going to read it to you. Okay. So, there's a lot of stuff on here, but we'll do it in order. Plague. Sickness sweeps through the settlement. Survivors are stricken without warning. Made too weak to even care for themselves. Select 4 survivors with at least 1 hunt experience. They are infected, and each rolls. So, first off, I'm going to record Plague here, because I just want to record story-wise what's happened. Just for just personal story logging. And like I stated before, that's one reason why I like cataloging this on YouTube and Twitch, is sort of like catalog by story, so I can rewatch really cool events. Okay. So it says I have to... It has to be somebody with at least 1 hunt experience that can nominate, but I have to nominate 4 people if possible. Okay. So the people I have with 1 hunt experience is... Let's see here. I have 2 people that died. Isma has hunt experience. Gora and Valerie were characters I had created for the Triathlon of Death, but they don't have any hunt experience. So that means the total that I can nominate are one of these 4, or Snahavium, who is one of the other parents of the twins, and Isma, who's basically the leader of the civilization and the creator of the religion Ismortah, which is also my name on Twitch. Coincidence? No. Of course not. So I have 6 people I can choose from. Who wants to be sick? So Isma is already so maimed and so close to death that I don't want to have her risk getting a plague, because she's important to religion. I'm trying to heal her. Plus the fact that she's been sitting out, like, it doesn't really fit that she would get exposure or something, because if anything I was doing the opposite, because she was so maimed and attacked during this Lantern Year. So honestly what I could do is just have it be one of these 4 also, because they were out in the world, you know, trying to defend against this butcher and then brought back a plague. That would kind of make sense story-wise. And since I had one of my characters, you know, by the grace of me not reading a card correctly, escape death, maybe all 4 of these characters should now be facing certain death, possibly. Yeah, the only other character, if I'm not doing Isma, is Snahavium, who's one of the parents. But again, like, the fact that these 2 are sitting out, story-wise doesn't really make sense that they would contract the plague. I guess it would make sense for Isma to contract the plague, because she's already so sick. You know, kind of like getting the flu or something. You know, it's always, if you're in a high exposed area, or if you're barely exposed, but you have a compromised immune system. So let me read the rules one more time. Select 4 survivors with at least 1 hunt experience. They are infected. I don't know. You know what? Story-wise, I don't know if this is how the plague came about, but I think it should be one of these 4. The reason why I say that is because when the butcher died, it said he exploded from the reward result when I did the aftermath. And so, you know, maybe all these survivors contracted the plague from this explosion. So we're going to do that. Story-wise, we're committed. And like I said, I kind of feel... I shouldn't say feel bad, but the fact that I misread that and one of these characters should have died, maybe one of these characters is still going to die, right? So I'll have it be these 4, like, you know. And that's, you could see in hindsight, one good reason about having characters that you just share experience with, because then you had people that you could be potential targets of death instead of your high-value survivors also. Typically, you never want to have all your eggs in one basket. But all my people with at least 1 hunt experience are really out. Otherwise, it's the parent and Isma. So it's these 4, or potentials. Okay. So now I roll, each of them rolls 1d10. Okay? So I'll roll for each one, and then I'll put their dice on top of their character sheet. So first doing Volatile. Let me see where you can see the roll. I mean, you can't really see it anywhere, so I guess from this distance it's kind of hard to see. Unless I put these back there, I'll do that. I'll show you a zoom in of each of these if they come up during the settlement phase, if I'm going to use them. Okay. All right. So first is Volatile. That's an 8. I'm just going to record all the numbers, then I'll see what happens afterwards. Next is Eltcore. That's a 6. Next is Oko. That's an 8. And Citroni, does he live or die? That's a 4. That's the lowest number. Could be bad. We'll see. Okay, so if I rolled a 1 or 2, you are dead, and the infection spreads. Add plague to the next lantern year in the timeline if it's not already there. I didn't roll any 1s or 2s for anybody, so that's good. No one died, and the infection is going to spread to the next lantern year, so that's good. And then it says, if you rolled a 3 through an 8, does the settlement have bloodletting? Which is an innovation. I do not, so I do know. Your body tries to fight off the infection. Unless you receive treatment, see below, you will die at the end of the settlement phase. So no one instantly died from the plague. They're sick, and I just need to treat everybody's sickness, or they're going to die. No one got a 9 or 10. That would have been a full recovery. So no one got instantly died. No one's immune. Everyone just sick, and I need to cure these sick people. Okay. So I got really lucky here because the only way to cure people of this plague is by giving people treatment. And you can only give treatment if you had ammonia. And I innovated that last lantern year. So that was really lucky. Otherwise, all 4 of these characters would have instantly died. I mean, would have died during the settlement phase, is what I mean. So I had plans for spending Endeavor, but looks like during the settlement phase, I need to spend 1 Endeavor on every single person to try to save them, it looks like. So that's what I have to do. People got sick. Which kind of works out because I was on the fence about doing innovation or not, and wasting like one of my random resources that could count as anything, an organ, a hide, or a bone. So, you know, I got to fight off this infection, which I could have sworn was spread from the butcher. The butcher was acting really weird, just like people act like when they're infected with something, you know, like if you saw the thing. And then he blows up, and then they all get infected. Right. Coincidence. Okay, so treatments. You spend Endeavor, roll d10, and then see what happens. And to do it, you need ammonia, which I do have. Fortunately, otherwise they would, like I said, they'd all be dead. Okay, so we're going to do the person that's most critical first. So I'll do Citroni because he's the most sick. So I can roll d10. I rolled a 9. Wow, that's like really high. Here it says if I rolled a 9+, all infected survivors receive treatment. The settlement resists the infection. The plague is currently on the timeline. Remove it. So what this meant was if someone instantly died and it shows up again on the timeline, you basically found the cure and you prevent it from seeing plague 2 lantern years in a row. But if I rolled anything else, I could cure somebody one at a time, but I rolled a 9, so I can cure everybody, so that's awesome. It only cost 1 endeavor. So I already spent 1 on Citroni, and I cured everybody's infection of the plague. Man, that was a dirty settlement, for sure. And that was the plague. Cool. Well, now I just need to cure my need to go to the bathroom. So while people are getting the treatment, I'm going to use facilities. By the time I come back, everybody will be cured, and then we'll continue progressing with the settlement phase. Sorry about that. 1 second. All right, I'm back. The infection was cured in the bathroom. All right. Cool. So next up is a story event, actually. So following this, the next thing I'm doing is now any triggered story events, which there is on the settlement sheet that's written on there. The milestone thing, this is where you check any milestones, do any milestones. But like I said, when I'm doing this campaign, I'm triggering these milestones as they happen at the particular phase of the game, of the Lantern Year. So anyway, we are doing Hands of Heat. Which is interesting because, you need heat to cure an infection. So how does that incorporate? We shall see. Okay, so I'm looking for the chapter Hands of Heat. And if you're asking one of the reasons why I don't do the milestones when I do it, is because that's one of the things that it's too much bookkeeping to flag something that you need to refer to it later on multiple places and then refer to everything in one step at one point of each year, when I could just do it as it comes up. It kind of fits story-wise better anyway, as well. Anyway, that's why I do that. One of the custom things that in this custom campaign. Okay, Hands of Heat, 125. Okay, Hands of Heat. I'll show you a picture. This lady with her hands on fire. It's like, what is happening? And this is the stuff I would be referring to for the event. Okay. The mystery of the lantern's glow. If the settlement already innovated lantern oven, I skip the events. I do not have lantern oven. I have ammonia and a hovel, but no oven. One lucky day, a clumsy accident knocks a lantern free from the towering lantern horde. My guess would be, I don't know, somebody who's horribly maimed like Isma, who fiddling probably tripped. Story-wise, what I'm going to do. A clumsy accident knocks a lantern free from the towering lantern horde. A sudden flash of heat bathes the survivors as the lantern crashes to the ground. Now shattered, the lantern light dies, but the seed of an idea begins to grow. Nominate a survivor. They gain +1 courage, and they experiment with lanterns. So what I gotta think now is, who do I want to nominate? The fact that Isma, whereas being the founder and a leader in the civilization, the fact that she's so incapable, I don't think she should participate in anything that she has to anymore. So I'm going to nominate somebody else. So I think I want to nominate someone who already has courage to be more courageous. So let's see what our choices are. Snyhavium has 1 courage. And Citroni has 1 courage. So both the parents have 1 courage. The fact that Snyhavium story-wise sat out, and is also somewhat of great importance, that maybe she should be the one who experiments. Like, it's like she's like the new Isma, leading in her place while she tries to, get better. So I think I'll do that. I'll do Snyhavium. I will nominate Snyhavium to experiment with lanterns. So this is a table. Roll a d10 and see what happens. Wow. You see that? That, my friends, would be a lantern. I'm experimenting with lanterns, and I got a lantern, which is like a natural 20 in D&D. Okay, so 7+. The survivor discovers heat, and the settlement celebrates. Your settlement gains the lantern oven innovation. The survivor gains the red fist secret fighting art, and then rolls on the lantern branding table on this page. Okay, what does that all mean? It means I need to find my pencil. Okay. So, she gains red fist fighting art. She already has 2 fighting arts, crazed and last man standing. So she now learns red fist, which is very interesting because if this is really good, it's one I could share with my shadow ritual, which is unique to my Showdown settlement and custom campaign, and the Ismortah religion. So I learned red fist, and I'll grab that, look it up what that is, and then I'll also grab the lantern oven innovation. Okay. So I'll look right now for lantern oven. Here I wanted to innovate, and technically I just got an innovation. So there you go. What is it, the very last card? Where the hell is it? Where is it? These cards kind of stick together. Because they're coarse, they grab. That is very weird. I don't see it in here. Oh, you know why I don't see it? It's because I almost innovated it. It's in my innovation deck. That's probably why. Yep, that's why. So one of the things I then add to the deck, since this is now innovated for free, is now I need to add the Lantern Oven consequences to this deck as well. So we got a free innovation. And looks like we learned heat. So now we know ammonia, which saved our life, and heat. And both ammonia and heat are used to make more advanced gear and weapons in the game. Like, for example, you see so many things like you need ammonia, you need heat, you need ammonia. This you even need drums. Starting to innovate. All right, so we added Lantern Oven. Next thing I'm going to do is look for the consequences and add it to the deck. So that would be Lantern Oven consequences. Basically what I'm looking for is anything where you like this says family consequences. Anything that has Lantern Oven consequence at the top is what I would be adding to my innovation deck. Okay, so this is one. That's one. Okay, so I believe I only found two. Now I'm just going to do another pass just to make sure. Looks like I could learn scrap smelting and cooking. Looks like. But I'm going to do one more pass just to make sure. Because the cards do stick. Okay, I believe that's it. Okay, so we added 2 new cards to the innovation deck, which will be shuffled before we innovate, if we're going to innovate again. Or innovate during this. And let me update this that we learned Lantern Oven. And then I'll see what Lantern Oven does. Lantern Oven. It allows us to now use anything that requires heat, first of all. And then it says, by agitating lanterns, a source of heat becomes available to the settlement. Departing survivors gain +1 survival. So that's great. So now I have more incentive to keep upping the limit, because now I have more ways now to regenerate survival. Or for new people of the tribe to get that initial boost to survival. So departing gain +1 survival. So let's see. Depart +1 survival. So now, whenever any of my people depart, they get they get 3 survival, and then as long as I have this in my party, when they arrive at the showdown, everyone gets 1 survival. Besides that, the Stone Noses, if you recall, give you 1 survival insanity per whoever it's on, and then the Dried Acanthus gave you 2 survival, whoever it's on. So this is great survival shit. 3 going out, 1 when you arrive, and you start with 1. I mean, fuck, man, that's really good. Okay, so we learned Lantern Oven. So now we have 6 innovations and 2 principles. And we can do anything now that requires ammonia and anything that requires heat. Okay, now let's continue. So I learned, oh yeah, I have to get out the Red Fist Secret Fighting Art. Which is the only deck with a red back. Legendary Lungs would have been one of the things it could have earned, but I'm glad I didn't earn it since my character should have died, like I already went into. But that's actually really good. You could do additional. You basically are fighting just like Hack City. If you learned that. Okay, Red Fist. Here we go. Red Fist Secret Fighting Arts. At the start of each showdown, each survivor gains a +1 strength token. Survivors may spend +1 strength tokens in place of survival. Wow, that's awesome. So if I have any way to accumulate strength tokens, you could also use them as survival, which is awesome. Another way to accumulate, especially during the course of the fight. So it's like if you can generate, it's like you're regenerating survival points. And then everyone initially, when they go out, get a +1 strength token, which means not only is it easier for everybody to hit, but then it's like an extra survival point because it's a strength token. And remember, tokens only last during the showdown. Wow, that's really good. This is definitely one I'm going to share. That way, in case one of my people die, someone else will have it. So this is definitely one I'm going to share. For sure. That's awesome. That's really good. It's really good just by default. What I say by risky is the person that has it, if they die, you'll then lose Red Fist. So that's definitely one I'm going to shadow ritual and share amongst the populace. Okay, so now I'm just going to record what in general it does. Okay, so Red Fist, SD Showdown, each survivor +1 STG token. And then can spend STG tokens in place of survival. Okay. So that's definitely one I'm going to do Shadow Ritual on, for sure. And that's very powerful. And I think that's something I didn't realize before is not only like, oh wow, people got more strength to hit, but if I now get weapons like or items that I generate strength tokens for whatever reason, that's more survival. Like for example, Frenzy Drink says that I can't spend survival. Okay? But when I do Frenzy Drink, I get a +1 strength token. And then Red Fist says I can spend a +1 strength token in place of survival. So does that mean that this is the loophole so that someone with Frenzy Drink can still spend survival? That's one of the things I'm probably going to look up the rules after this stream to see if that's the case. Because if so, then that means whoever has Frenzy Drink could have, you know, potentially a way to gain a survival point. Cool. All right, so we gained the Lantern Oven Innovation, and we added the consequence to the deck. We gained Red Fist. Now the last thing is Snahavium rolls to determine what happens when she tries to brand herself. I rolled a 1. That could be bad, could be good. Normally, let's see what happens. Lantern branding. A feast culminating in the ritual branding of the settlement's finest warriors by the heat of an agitated lantern. Discard half the settlement's total resources, including storage, rounded down. Nominate a survivor and roll on the table below. Wow, so we do this huge feast and we get rid of a whole bunch of resources. Okay. So it says discard half the resources that I have rounded down. So I currently have, fortunately, a lot of garbage resources, but also some good. So in total, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 resources, and they said round down, so that means I lose 5 resources. Ugh, that's terrible. But I do have a lot of crap. But I also don't know the value of Broken Lantern, so I don't want to lose all of those. So let me think what I'm going to do. Well, I'm deciding right now is what resources to lose. So I have to discard half the settlement's total resources, including storage. I mean, if I want to be, well, I mean, I also have, like, the Lonely Ant I could get rid of. I don't want to get rid of all of my lanterns because I don't know the value. Technically, I could get rid of all of the Acanthus because I know I'll find more Acanthus, and I've already made 2 dried Acanthus. So what I could do is I could lose 1, 2, 3, another lantern, so I'm at 2 lanterns, and then lose the Lonely Ant. I'll do that. So I'll lose. Yeah, so I'll lose both my Acanthus, 2 lanterns, and a Lonely Ant is what I'm losing. Okay, so Broken Lanterns, I'm now at 2, and a lost Lonely Ant. And see, that's why it's good just to have crap resources for shit like this. And then I lose these 2. So I lost 5 resources. I'll have this be the archive place to put stuff back. Okay, so we did that. So I rolled a 1. The result is tradition. All departing survivors gain +10 survival. Add Hands of Heat to the timeline 1d10 years from now. So any people I have depart on this next hunt will have +10 survival. Which really doesn't matter, because if you start with 1, I have ways to gain 4 survival to be at 5. But if you had a way to have a shit ton of survival, they would have been flooded. So that part is a waste. But the part that's cool is I then add Hands of Heat to the timeline 1d10 years from now. So I can do this event again, playing with fire. Okay, so 1d10 is a d10 divided by 2, round down. Well, it doesn't say round down, so I'll go round up. 4, in this case I don't. So it's 2 years from now, it's going to be Hands of Heat again. So I'll record it on here. So during Lantern Year 7 is also going to be Hands of Heat. Okay. So that would be Lantern Year 7 that comes around. And I'll just remember that everyone going out is going to be capped at 10 survival, because you can't go above your cap. Okay, so that's Hands of Heat. So it sucked that we lost a lot of resources, but fortunately they were all non-useful resources. You know, like it wasn't hide, organ, or bone, fortunately. Some resources we have left now is one wild card, 2 skulls, 1 Eye of Cat, which is an organ, and 2 broken lanterns. But we learned Hands of Heat. But we learned Heat, and we learned Red Fist, which now I can, with Shadow Ritual, I could share it with other people of the society so we don't lose it as a civilization, that ability. And again, after this stream, I will look up to see if you can use Red Fist and just check the wording. Does it mean it counts also as a survival point instead, but I use it the same way? Or my guess is it's just additional points. So if someone said you can't spend survival, I'm assuming then you also can't spend speed tokens. But that's the wording I want to check, because otherwise that could be a loophole around that situation. But I'll look at that up after the stream. Okay, so we did Hands of Heat. Let me see if there's any other events. So we did the settlement event, which was Plague. We did Hands of Heat. Now we can do next is update death count. Nobody died. And now we check for milestones, which, as you know, I don't do. I do that as they happen. So now we can develop. So now we can spend endeavors, and we can craft gear. I definitely don't have resources to craft gear. One of the things we could still do is we could spend 3 resources to innovate, but I'm kind of on the fence whether I want to use the Eye of Cat to make the cat's jewelry, the cat eye jewelry, and also I kind of don't really want to spend a wild card when I don't know what resources we'll get in future hunts. Maybe we'll be short 1 hide or 1 organ that we really need. But I could innovate. I could spend Eye of Cat and the question mark and 1 skull to innovate. So I don't know. But as you see, there's a lot of value innovating, because if I didn't have Heat, I can't do some of these. I can't craft some of these things. If I didn't have ammonia, my whole party would have died. So there's a lot of value in civilization. So I think I kind of should innovate. I think skipping a day of innovating is really bad, in my opinion, because I know I'm going to need this to do stuff, and this saved my life. And survival saves your life. And the only way I got all the survival is by progressing through the tree of innovation. So I think I've kind of already answered my question, to be honest. Okay, so I'm probably going to spend 1 on innovation, and then I was thinking about spending 2 and trying to do an intimacy. But now that I see the supreme value in sending people out that have hunt experience because they couldn't nuke my party, I could share experience with 2 new people and bring them out in the next hunt to try to get them more hunt experience. Is what I'm thinking I may do instead. I was thinking about doing intimacy only because there's a chance at intimacy, which is really good, but then there's also the chance that I can gain more understanding, and I have Svathold, who's 1 away from getting 3 understanding, which will trigger something. Well, in this case, would trigger. I can get additional endeavor when she is a returning survivor. I don't know. I think the lesson I saw here was I need to have a party of adventurers and not just and not just seasoned people. Like I need to have some seasoned people and some newbies. That way, in case stuff happens, the newbies can become the new seasoned people. So that's what I'm gonna do. We gotta focus on civilization. Like I already have gear. Yes, I'm probably gonna hunt the white line again, even though I said I wouldn't because I want to complete the set. So I have weapons. I'm working on gear. I need to build a civilization. We need to survive as a settlement. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna innovate. Technically, I didn't innovate. This was something I gained during the settlement, so I can still do the innovate action. You just can only innovate once per settlement phase. I'm just checking the story event to see if it counted. Like, this is an innovation that I unlocked, but I didn't do a innovate, which is this action. And you can only innovate once per settlement. But this wasn't innovate, this was a story event. But, I mean, I could also argue that, that was the innovation. I learned Hands of Heat. I learned the lantern instead of learning paint. It just, instead of paying for it with 3 resources and endeavor, I paid for it with 5 resources and no endeavor. So, you know what? And like I said, I'm still on the fence about using that wild card. I really think it's going to be critical later. I think I'm not going to do anything. I have some resources, and I'll just see what happens. Yeah, I think I'm not going to innovate. The Eye of Cat. I'll show you the Eye of Cat thing that I was thinking about, because that cat eye can only be used. Is the only way to make one of these unique items after that Katarian. And again, this is also one of the reasons why I said this stream, why I'm taking the departing part out of it and the milestone part out, because that way I can make this more digestible, the session. But anyway, one of the things you can make is the Eye Cat Circlet, which you need the Eye of Cat to make it, which I have. And the Eye of Cat it's actually not in my list of stuff to consider, but now I will consider it. The Eye of Cat Circlet, as an action, allows you to look at any 3. I can look at the top 3 hit locations and put them back in any order, which is useful really for avoiding traps or the off chance that you get something that's very good and you want it to be the next card you see to like kill somebody. I was on the fence because really the more useful one would be the headdress, the headpiece for the rawhide. The fact that if I see an AI card that's really bad, I can make sure I don't see it. The main use in this is the fact that you can avoid a trap. So if I would trigger a trap, I could put at the bottom, so the first 2 cards I do instead. But the problem is if you draw 3 cards, you're going to see that trap anyway. So it's like, it really doesn't stop the situation. So that's why I was on the fence about not doing it at all. But the fact that I haven't decided yet and seen the value, I think I should just hold on to it, because it is a rare piece. So I think I should just hold on to it for time being. Because of that means I can't innovate. But honestly, because of the story event, and I just lost 5 resources, I just innovated. We're playing around with the oven, so we'll stick with it. Okay, so I have 3 endeavors left. So I think I'm going to sort of stick with the plan. I think I'm going to try to do intimacy twice. Or I'll try intimacy once and see what happens. And then I may share experience twice, is what I'm thinking about doing. So let's go ahead and try to trigger intimacy. And I say try because what I trigger is augury. The survivor endeavors to glean the meaning of existence. And then I can either gain understanding, or I gain a survival, or I trigger intimacy. The reason why I normally don't trigger intimacy unless you have love juice is because there's a 50% chance or a 40% chance that all you do is gain 1 survival. And using an endeavor to gain 1 survival is complete waste. So that's the risk. Because it could be a total waste. Otherwise, you gain 1 understanding, which would be good for volatile. Or I trigger intimacy, which is good for everybody. But if I roll a 4 through 7, I just gain 1 survival. So it's like, ugh. But augury, you also add 1 to your roll result if your understanding is 3 or higher. So as much as I want to do volatile, what I could do is just do Isma, because she has 4 understanding to get at least a bonus. So maybe that's what I'll do. So it just depends what risk I want to do, right? Fuck. Fuckity fuck. Well, I mean, odds-wise, it'd be better to do Isma. Benefit-wise, it'd be better to do volatile. Besides, volatile, though, is so insane and mained, I don't think she can do anything. Yeah, and another thing I can do with Endeavor before I commit is I can also rest. I could try to heal Isma's injuries slowly over time. I can only do this. I can only do bed once per settlement phase, so I could do it slowly over time. So if I want her, it's possible that maybe there's a way to cure insanities, or maybe it's worth taking her out, but I need to make her actually heal her up again. So that's something else I could do, is I could spend 1 to try to have volatile do augury, and I could spend 1 to try to heal Isma. I've already spent 1 on Citroni. Why was 1 spent on Citroni? Oh, it was from plague. Try to cure the plague. Cure the plague. Try to cure Isma. Try to understand the world. And then I could share experience. Or I could attempt this twice. Okay. Anyway, that's 2. I'll have 2 attempts, and that may also be worth it. Okay, so with volatile, I'm going to attempt augury. I'm going to spin Endeavor, and I'm going to roll d10, see what happens. So the fact I'm trying to create life, I'll use the white one. Try to create life. Life. I rolled a 7. I think that's barely what I didn't need. Let me check. 4 to 7, gain 1 survival. So unfortunately, that was a waste. I say waste just because I have ways to gain survival. That's why I say that. So her survival was at 2, and now it's at 3. Okay. She's trying to glean the existence. She just had no success. She's like, well, no, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. So next, let's skip that for now. That was an attempt that failed. Now I'm going to do bed. I'm going to rest. So if I roll bad, she'll gain 1 insanity, which is still good. If I roll 4+, she'll heal 1 severe injury. Let's see what happens. So I cured the plague. I learned how to heat stuff with lanterns. I tried to gleam existence, wasn't successful. Let's see if we can heal our leader and religious champion. Roll the 7. Great. Skips the next hunt, but she's skipping every hunt. You can remove one of the following: a broken arm, a broken hip, a broken... Oh, wait, I can't even do this. You can't heal a... I thought this was something that I can just heal a severe injury. That's not what it says. I can only heal one of these 4 things. I can only remove if you broke something or if you have a ruptured muscle. So I didn't break my intestine and I didn't break my arm. I got it cut open, and my arm got cut off. So I can't even use this to heal her. So that's not even worth the endeavor. Like, I can't even do it. Yeah, it's only one of these 4 severe injuries, which is none of the injuries that she got. The injuries that she got, which are way too just for flavor, was dismembered arm, torn Achilles tendon, gaping chest wound, and disemboweled. So those are all like severe injuries. These are just like you're on the playground and you need to rest, which makes sense. You're resting in your bed. Okay, so we're not doing that. That's done. I would not even have done it if I read it correctly. So no, we're not doing that. Nope. Okay, so I got 2 left. I think I should just teach new people at this rate, because this shit is not working. Voltol wanted to become like the vice president leader under Snahavium, but she doesn't know what she's talking about. So that's not happening. So let's just teach the settlement. I'll teach 2 new people and give them hunt experience. So let's go ahead and create 2 new character cards. So I already have names I want to do. I have Timothy, Adam, Samantha, and Volva. So I'll do this. I'll just go down the list. So I'll do Timothy and Adam. So 2 males. That's what I will create. We have Timothy. Who starts with 1 survival, and we know how to encourage, and we also know how to dash. And it's going to start now with 1 hunt experience, and then the teacher will be Eltcore for this one. Spend the endeavor. And then I start with 1 stat. So the 1 stat I'll start with is let's do accuracy. +1 accuracy. Okay, so that's Timothy. So I'll update this and say we've already gained the stat. And when I add the gender, that means I created the card, so it's a male. Okay. And these are people already in Civilization. I'm just creating their card. So we have Timothy now. And then we're also going to go ahead and create Adam. Or maybe I should, I kind of like the trend of doing 1 man, 1 male, and 1 female. So let's skip to the one that everyone likes, the name of it. We'll do Volva. Volva, female. She gets dash, she gets encourage, she gets 1 survival. She gets 1 hunt experience. And let's do evasion. +1. Okay. And I'll mark it off here. So we have a new female card, and her stats have already been determined. All right. And the teacher for her will be Oko. So all 4 of my returning survivors endeavored, even though Volva was not successful. I mean, she got 1 survival, but, you know. Say Livy. She tried to glean existence and gleaned nothing. Okay, so that was it for endeavors. Now it's do I want to spend resources to do anything? I don't think I do, because I'm on the fence what to do about the cat eye, and I want to keep the wild card just in case. So I'm not going to craft anything. So I believe then that's it for this session, because now it's just preparing starting survivors, which are going to have to be part of the hunt. And the hunt is going to be the white lion again, which most likely will be the last time I hunt the white lion. I just really wanted to get this as soon as possible, completing this set. I really want to do. But it's also possible that when I get 4 resources, I don't get a fur. That is also possible. But I just want to give it another go. So if I do that, then on plague, I'll put down white lion. And we'll fight ourselves another lion. I was also entertaining possibly fighting a level 2 white lion. I'm on the fence. It's more punishing. But I'll determine that when I do the hunt. Because maybe when I'm thinking about the strategy for the hunt, maybe I want to go over after a level 2. I kind of need to decide, I guess, before then, because that will determine a different hunt. But I'll determine it during the hunt and between streams. Because you'll get 6 resources instead of 4. But the lion is basically almost twice as powerful. He has 50% more health and hits harder. So it's like, you know, not sure. But I also have a lot more survival this time going too, so I could do it. I've never done a level 2. It'd be interesting. I'll think about it. Cool. Well, now I'm just going to archive any resources and stuff, and then that'll be it for the stream. So I've already archived all this. I newly added lantern oven, so we're good there. And we have heat, so I think we're good. Awesome. Well, thanks for watching. We survived the plague. We learned how to use ovens. So we're surviving. The next stream will be just the hunt and preparing starting survivors and preparing the showdown. Will just be the hunt. So the showdown will be the stream after the next stream. Next stream will just be the hunt, the phase that we're just trying to find the white lion and the insanity that pursuit that happens voyaging through the darkness trying to find the lion. Cool. Well, again, this is Ismortah. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.